Hey everybody, T-Man here, bringing you guys another fucking video. This one, if you guys saw my CM Punk video, this one's gonna be about Vince McMahon. I don't know what the title of this, probably Out of Touch, I would call it. This is talking about Vince McMahon, and me think it's not bashing him. I think Vince McMahon's one of the great minds of the business, but only one of the great minds of the business, and not the all-time #1 great mind of the business. I think let's get right into it. I'm not going to do any introductions. Let's get right into what this video is and what it's going to be about here. This video is going to be about Vince McMahon, I believe, out of touch and not doing great storylines anymore, and he hasn't in a long time. First of all, Vince McMahon is not the ultimate genius as people like to think he is. Okay, has he done genius things? Sure, yes, he's done a lot of great things, but so has Eric Bischoff, so has Paul Heyman, and there's great storylines, writers over the years, and people that's worked with the company that's done great things, as well as Vince McMahon, but doesn't get as credited because Vince McMahon is the last game in town. Okay, I mean, Vince McMahon could be credited for a lot of things, but he's not the ultimate genius. And if you've been watching in the WWE in the past 10 years, you can see that, okay? He is so fucking out of touch of his fans and just so many things, and you know, and I'm gonna be jumping around time frames, okay? I'm gonna go all the way back to the fucking Hogan years, okay, and all the way to the new generation and everything of how just out of touch he especially now in his older age, okay? I mean, he doesn't really know what the fuck he's doing. I mean, perfect example, let's start with his golden boy, John Cena. I got nothing against John Cena, okay? John Cena is going to go down being one of the top cornerstones, just like a Hogan, just like an Austin, Bret Hart, Rock, you name him, he's going to be on the top of the list. But here's the thing, though. How they've handled John Cena in the past 10 years, here and there, has been really wrong, okay? They've handled him so fucking wrong. I mean, I remember back in 2004 when John Cena was getting hot and it was his time. You know, I wanted John Cena to win at WrestleMania 21 against JBL. I loved the storyline. I thought it was a great idea. But, you know, sometimes, you know, you gotta listen to the fans, okay? I believe one of the biggest reasons why they had to move to the PG era was because of how many people left because Vince McMahon was shoving shit down people's throats that they did not want to fucking watch. Perfect example, like I said, with the John Cena. Okay, he wins the title in 2004. You know, he's going with his tussle, loyalty, respect. That, at that time, there was still a lot of Attitude fans that were still watching the fucking product at that time, okay? They're still watching it, and they didn't like this goody-good in John Cena. If Vince McMahon was smart, John Cena could be a great heel. Like, he's been a heel in his early run. They could have let him just go crazy, and he could have been a great heel, and eventually when it ran out, maybe he would have been so cool. I think John Cena, back in, specifically in 2005, if you remember, with the whole ECW shit going on, if they would have, a couple months after that, turned him, you know, heel, in maybe 2006 or 7, between 2005 and 7, would have turned him heel, I think it would have took off, because John Cena really is a great performer and a great promo man. I think he would have been so great at, you know, being a bad guy and making things sound cool. People would like him, and then you could build him as an anti-hero and not just a fucking goody-good like he is now. You know, I mean, he could still say goody-good things and stuff with the kids and all that, but it wasn't selling. And if you remember, and when he was the champion in 2004, 5, 6, and around that time period, the product was still TV-14. Okay, it wasn't PG yet, but they've lost so many fans because they wouldn't turn him heel. Vince McMahon's like, no, I'm not turning him heel, and now it's to the point, so many years later, almost 10 years now down the road, Now I kind of agree. Now they can't turn him heel because now they lost so many people watching here and there. They can't turn Cena heel because now it is PG era, and now all the kids are invested. So now it wouldn't really make too much sense because you're in the PG era, you've lost all the fans, and now you kind of have new fans. You still have the diehard fans of wrestling watching, like myself, and I'm sure like a lot of you, okay, that are still watching. And now, like, people's like, turn Cena heel. That should have happened a long time ago. And I'm not saying the ship has sailed forever. They could still do that later down the road, but in this moment in time, you know, now's the time to, you know, keep him good guy. Now, if they do want to keep John Cena more relevant because he is running out of gas, he's been doing the same persona and the same goody-good thing for too long. What I would do if I was smart, if I was Vince McMahon, and I guess this video is going to be, now since I'm talking a lot about Cena, is going to be a Vince / Cena. I was going to do a separate video on Cena, but you know what? I think since I'm talking about both, and I'm just ranting here, it's going to be both, okay? Now, anyways, so, I mean, what they can do, if they want to turn him heel right now, is the good guys that they have, the two top baby faces in the company right now, well, they're not currently there, but they're both out with injury, is Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. Those are two guys right now that is still on the roster that they could push these guys to great heights, especially Roman Reigns, okay? If I was WWE right now, their plan is to have Roman Reigns become the champion, right? Beat Brock. Okay, I'm down with it. I'm okay with that storyline. What I would do is I would build for the whole year Roman Reigns and Cena, and that could be truly a passing the torch, but at the same time reinventing John Cena, because if you dare put like Roman Reigns as the heel in that scenario whenever they wrestle, and don't blow it at SummerSlam or some other fucking pay-per-view, wait for WrestleMania, make Daniel Bryan heel, okay? Not Daniel Bryan, I'm sorry, John Cena. Make the guy heel. Do it then. Just don't do it right now just to do it. Have the right storyline. Don't do things just to fucking do them. Okay? Have it mapped out. Have it fucking planned. And then that could be something good. But Vince McMahon and Triple H, I don't think they'll do that. It's been 10 years that they've been doing this shit with Cena. Okay? So that's one thing that Vince McMahon is completely out of touch with. And another one, you can see my CM Punk review with the whole CM Punk shit. How he did not build. I mean, CM Punk was so fucking hot the last 2-3 years. He was so hot. I mean, crowds everywhere was just all over him. And then he had that whole 1-year title reign or whatever. Build him as big as Cena. But no, once when you had the two compete, that's another time where they could have threw Cena heel. Don't throw him heel just to throw him heel. Have the right storyline. Then that would have been perfect. CM Punk would have been bigger than John Cena. And yes, even though they were already in the PG era, they could have brought in maybe old fans from the Attitude Era. And CM Punk is so smart. He could deliver you some great controversial promos and great promos with keeping it PG. He could have did that. And you could have built him like a Steve Austin. Same thing with the Daniel Bryan. Vince McMahon was so out of touch last year in the Royal Rumble that he honestly thought that the world wanted to see Randy Orton and Batista. Okay? Now, if you're a fan from 5, 6, 7 years ago, sure, you would love to see that match, you know, from a few years ago. And if you're just a casual viewer who doesn't know today's roster, you know, and knew those guys from the past, you're like, wow, yeah, that's a pretty good Mania match. But for everyone that's watching and knows, that's ridiculous. It's all about putting the two top guys in the fucking company in the main event at WrestleMania. It would have been about that. And I know they already did Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan and other pay-per-views or whatnot, you know. I mean, the triple threat match probably should have been, you know, the original plan, okay? And here's another thing, you know. The match at WrestleMania 30 should have been CM Punk having the title Forget about the Authority storyline. You guys could have still continued with that, okay? That's the thing. They were structuring that whole Authority storyline for Triple H could wrestle that year. He just wanted to wrestle CM Punk, and then when that was off the table, when CM Punk left, he threw himself at Daniel Bryan. Because he just wanted to fucking wrestle. That's all it was about. You know, it wasn't what was best for a business. It's about what can I do to put Triple H on the card at WrestleMania. Okay? I mean, and that's another thing. I mean, I know I'm jumping all over as things are entering my brain. I'm just spitting them out, so bear with me, fuckers. And here's another thing, guys. I mean, Vince McMahon, in the last 5 years of WrestleManias, he's been so dependent on his part-time workers, like Brock Lesnar, Undertaker, Triple H, The Rock. You know, he's been so dependent on those wrestlers from the past, and it's great bringing them in there. But when they're your top billings and not your current superstars like it used to be, I mean, that it should tell you something. When you're doing that over and over, eventually all those guys are going to get too old and they're going to retire. Okay? They're going to get old and they're going to retire. I believe that it's good bringing them back for the WrestleMania, but the main events shouldn't all, you know, come around them and, you know, and circle around them. You know, I mean, think about it. Think about all the days, you know, like WrestleMania 12. It was Brett and Shawn. Why? Because they were the two hottest things in the company. Okay? They were the two hottest superstars. That's what Mania is putting the two top guys in the company against each other at Mania. Same thing with Austin and Rock, because they were the top two guys. Same thing with Austin Michaels or whatever the WrestleMania matches, is because those two were the greatest storylines and the two top guys in the company. And during that period, I mean, and here's another scenario they could have did. I mean, if they didn't want to do Punk and Bryan one-on-one with Punk as a champion, and that's what they really should have did. Okay, fine. If you wanted to do the whole Authority angle, throw Randy Orton in there. Throw Randy Orton inside the match. Because if you would have threw Randy Orton in the match, then you guys could have continued and have the three-way. And, you know, just because of Daniel Bryan and CM Punk in the match, those guys would have tore the fucking roof down, man. It probably would have been, like, think about it. I mean, those three guys would have tore the roof down and probably had one of the greatest matches in WrestleMania history. It would have been better if it would have CM Punk and Daniel Bryan one-on-one at Mania. It would have been better. But, you know, but Triple H and Vince, they're really out of touch. They're out of touch. And Vince McMahon gets this credit of being the ultimate genius ever. Vince McMahon, is a genius. He's one of the geniuses. But like I said, there's a lot of geniuses and storyline writers that are great. There's a combination of them, and there's flaws with every single one of them. Just like there's flaws with Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo and whoever else who's wrote in and promoters, you know, the Crockett's. I mean, the list goes on and on. Cornette, Doc Hendricks. There's so many great minds of the business, and they all have flaws. Vince McMahon is one of them, but Vince McMahon is also the luckiest guy, and he's the richest guy. He's the luckiest guy, and here's how he's lucky. Now we're going a little old school, okay? He hit a thunderbolt with, this is going back to the 80s now. He hit a thunderbolt with Hulk Hogan, okay? And he rode that storyline, okay? He rode that storyline. But to show how out of touch he is, fine. Everyone comes across a good angle, just like Eric Bischoff did with the NWO. You could grab that and you could run with it. And that's what he did with Hulk Hogan and Hulkamania in the 80s and early 90s. But then once when you get to 92, 93, and Vince started the new generation, and he didn't quite have his top guy. Yes, it was Bret Hart, but, you know, he was still, like, looking for that guy, and Bret Hart did not quite have the promo abilities and that flashiness as Hulk Hogan did. You know, Bret Hart didn't quite have that. He was a great worker, and, I mean, he always got better every year with his promos. I mean, if you watch, Bret Hart always got better with his promos as the years got on. He always did. But if think about it, like, then he kind of went in a rough patch. just like all companies did. He went into a big rough patch with the new generation, and then things got all cartoony with Doink the fucking Clown, Duke the Dumpster Grocery. He was so out of touch. Nobody wanted to see that cartoon wrestling that Vince McMahon was putting on. It was bad fucking booking. And I mean, he was bad. It didn't have to be that bad. He had great wrestlers where it didn't have to be all cartoony. When you have guys like Michaels and Bret Hart and Owen Hart, that was a great wrestlers. I'm talking great in-ring workers. Sean Waltman and 1-2-3 Kid at the time, Razor Ramon. I mean, those are great workers that you had at that time. You didn't need all that cartoony things, you know, with the Godwins and all the weird fucking. They were all cartoon. Everybody at that time between 93 and like 96. Between 92 to 96, somewhere around that, and maybe early 97, they started getting out of that because that's when we went in the Attitude Era, and I'm going to cover that right now. But you know, they were really fucking out of touch. And here's the thing. Let's talk about the Attitude Era. Why did Vince McMahon wasn't the fucking genius behind the Attitude Era. It was luck. And I think he'll even admit that to you, okay? It was luck. They were getting their asses kicked. They were going. I mean, it wasn't that they were just getting their asses kicked by WCW and the ratings. It was also the fact that, you know, that they were desperate, okay? They were going out of business. People didn't know. It wasn't all about ratings. They were going out of business. WWE was going under, okay? When it came down to 96 and 97, they were hurting so bad. And I think what happened was, you know, all the boys were passionate backstage, like the Austins and the Rocks and everybody. And you know, everyone just got together, including Vince, and Vince is like, we're going down. Let's go down swinging. And that's what happened. And Vince will even admit that's pretty much what happened. But it wasn't his brilliance. It wasn't his brilliance. They had great storyline. They had Cornette. They had Russo. They had all these other guys working backstage that was helping Vince McMahon. It wasn't McMahon alone. And I think they were getting their asses kicked. They were going out of business, and they went down swinging, and they said, fuck this. And then that's when the attitude came out, because they were fucking mad that they were going down, okay? And then once again, just like with the Hogan thing, they hit that stride, okay? They hit that thunderbolt. They saw that fans liked that. They were kind of more in the, you know, the degenerate mode, which they capitalized on that, made the Degeneration X. The fans were getting more rowdy, and there you have it, the Attitude Era. And plus, they saw what was going on with Vince McMahon, and any retard could have, no offense to anybody, but any guy that, even a mentally challenged person can see, okay, that works for WCW. Let's do something a little different, similar, but different, and make it our own. Anybody could see that. It doesn't take a Vince McMahon genius, you know? Plus, so many people had their say in that Attitude Era. So many fucking people had their say, you know? So, and then after the Attitude Era, after that was kind of done, you know, and then, you know, it kind of was limboed for a while. You know, Brock Lesnar was a big thing in like 2002, 2003, but wasn't, you know, and same thing with like Kurt Angle and all that, and then when John Cena hit, and then there we go, and then that's when things started. That kind of wraps around, comes full circle into today, and you know, Vince McMahon is just so out of touch. And like I said, I even said it earlier on in this video, the Daniel Bryan thing, man. I mean, shit. You cannot see how hot this guy is. And that Royal Rumble was a Shawn Michaels super kick to the fucking face to Vince McMahon and Triple H. They're saying, oh, wow, they don't want Batista to be the champion. And I mean, they're so oblivious. I mean, Batista left when he left the company a few years before, you know, he was a hot heel. You know, he was just coming off of multiple programs with John Cena, and even Batista knew, if I'm coming back, I need to come back as a heel. Fine. I mean, he could come back, you know, his first night as a babyface and get the pop that he came back. Yeah, good. Batista's back. Yeah, good for you and all that good shit. But after that, even Batista said, book me as a heel. I'm not going to get over as a babyface. It's all about getting over. I'm not going to get over as a babyface. You got to, you know, and that's just another reason how Vince McMahon is so fucking out of touch. And I mean, I feel bad for WWE. I mean, the reason why WWE is so big because they still have the money, they have the lights, they have the glamour, they have the name. The name is so big because they're living off the reputation from the Hogan era, from the 80s, and also recently from the Attitude Era. They're living off that reputation. All that money from the Attitude Era is pretty much paid for all the big stadiums you see for Mania shows. I mean, those Attitude Eras should have been at stadium, but they were in that war and they didn't have the money for that back then, you know. And I'm really scared for the industry of wrestling right now. I really am, because I mean, right now there's nobody else in game, and you can say Vince McMahon put him out. He didn't single-handedly put him out. Yeah, he bought out a lot of companies in the 80s and the 90s, but if you think about it, it was a combination. There was two big industries, WCW and WWE, and I'm probably going to do a video on my opinion why WCW went out and the big war and all that, but you had the two big industries, and they both were putting people out of business, and both had to go to one of those two options, the WCW, the WWE. It was both. And I mean, and seriously, like in the 80s, and if you remember, like WWE in the 80s, you know, we're all about the big man. We're all about Hogan and the Andres and the Big John Studs and Bam Bam Bigelow and and One Man Gang, all these big, larger-than-life characters. But WCW wasn't as big because they didn't have the money, because it was still owned by the Crockett's at the time, and you know, it was kind of a darker arena, more down south, but their matches, their in-ring matches with the Ric Flair, Steamboats, and tag teams, and Sting, and Dusty Rhodes, and if you watched the in-ring work, it was so much more superior than the WWE. And I bet you if they would have had that budget, the light, the camera deals, and you know, the arena, because the WCW was always dark, you know, their arenas when you watch was really dark and gloomy, and people didn't want to watch it. They want to watch light, happiness. WWE, it was all about the, you know, the lights, the glamour, and all that. But WCW had the better in-ring wrestling. You know, Vince McMahon, you know, like I said, I respect Vince McMahon. He is smart. He is a great storyline writer, but just one of them. And everybody, no matter who you are, they all make mistakes. Every great person that did great things in wrestling, writing Rise and built, all made mistakes. Vince McMahon's no different, okay? Eric Bischoff went so high, and then he made a bunch of mistakes that led to his downfall. Vince McMahon is doing the same thing. He just has a multi-billion-dollar company. You know, that is the difference between the two. I mean, and I just feel bad, like, and especially now. I mean, now we don't have all the indie promotions like we used to. I mean, we used to have all these indie promotions, you know, not indies, I'm sorry, that's a wrong word. We have a lot of indies around everywhere. I mean promotions, small territories, that's the word I'm looking for, sorry guys, territories. We had all these territories, and then when guys got hot, you know, you could go to the NWA, the WCC, the World Class Wrestling, the Mid-South, and so on and so on. You could go anywhere the fuck you want. Okay, now there's nowhere. Now you work on the indie scenes, and then if you want to go big, you either go TNA, which they're having a hard time, they're getting a little bit better, or WWE. You know, that's your two options. And right now, I feel so bad because, like I've said many times, the writing team in wrestling right now on WWE is some of the worst it's ever been. It's been the worst fucking writing I've seen in my life. I mean, I swear. And if you want to talk about a good example of bad writing, please watch my Hell in a Cell review video, guys. Go back, watch my Hell in a Cell review video, and I'll tell you examples of bad writing. But this video is not about fucking bad writing. I could just go on forever. You know, like I said, I've been watching wrestling for 24 years, guys. And this has been some of the worst shit I've ever seen. You know, storyline right. And the reason why I feel I keep avoiding this topic, I keep saying the reason why I feel bad for the fucking future is, okay, you got NXT, great wrestlers, and even on the main roster, you got great wrestlers, but it goes back to the writing. Like I said, if you don't have a plan for these guys, they're not going to succeed. They bring these guys in here, and they don't really have a plan. Yeah, they'll throw them in here with a storyline or whatever. No, I mean a plan, a arc, Like, you know what they can do. You have them in NXT for a few years. Okay, they got all the experience. Now, if you know they're big in NXT, they could be big in WWE too, right? They're the same company. You have to have a plan for them, like a full plan. Like, plus listen to the fans. Okay, how are the fans reacting? Now, have a plan. And then once when he gets in there, and if it's not working quite as planned, you could tweak it a little bit, okay? I mean, that's what the business is listening to the fans, tweaking things, but you have to have a plan for each guy. These guys are not succeeding is because they don't either have a good gimmick or they don't have a great plan. Bo Dallas, great wrestler, bad gimmick. That Bo-Leave is funny as shit. Yeah, well, I Bo-Leave and all this good happy horse shit. That's fun, but it could ride so long because it's just it's a ha-ha comedy gimmick. That's what it is. It's a comedy gimmick. And those things just last so long. Just like Fandango. And just like Adam Rose with the fucking bunny. They're all happy and they'll make you laugh. But those are not going to be your WrestleMania main events. You're not going to see Fandango against fucking Bunny Man or fucking whatever the fuck. You're not going to see that, guys. You're not. Anyways, that's plenty of examples why this video ran a little long. If you guys know, I like to make my videos between 10 to 15 minutes, 20 minutes top. This thing's running 25 minutes right now. I just want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys have any questions regarding this man or anything else that you want me here talk specifically about, I don't mind doing other videos. Like I said before, if I like your question, if I don't respond, it means I'm doing a video. I like your question and I'm going to do a video. If I don't do a video, I will write back to you. I fucking will. Until then, I'm sorry I got heated up. I get into my little rants and raves. Anyways, guys, I hope you liked this video of the downfall or what I believe is wrong with Vince McMahon and him not being as smart as people think he is. And, you know, he's human, guys. I mean, he's great. He's a genius. But like I said, there's just one. There's been many geniuses. So anyways, guys, hope you liked this video. Tell your friends, subscribe. I'm new. I'm still launching the channel. I mean, I'm still in the process of growing the channel. It's only been up for a couple weeks. Hopefully you like my video, guys. Until then, see you to the next one. Take care, guys.